Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Let me see and get this picture up. Give people enough time to get up in here real quick. And then we're going to jump right into it. Right into it. Get the screenshot. This is going to be a hard episode for some people. This is going to be a hard episode for some people. Hit the like button on your way in, please. Hit the like button on your way in. Hit the like button on your way in. All right. The reason why I was a little bit behind everybody is because I'm just trying to make sure I got everything in place. Before we hop into today's episode, I want to say to my Patreon members, if you did not see the notification, the Martin Luther King documentary bonus edition, or director's cut, if you will, is officially out. The original documentary was about 2 hours long. This is an additional 45 minutes, and it's worth the watch. When you get a chance, please go and check it out. You will not be disappointed. I'm really late on getting it out, but it was a lot of research. It took a lot of time. A lot of other stuff came up, but thank you. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because I'm trying to be mindful of the people that will be watching this back. I want to hop right into today's episode. But I wanted to let my Patreon members know that this is exclusively for Patreon. It will not come out on YouTube. Link is in the description to the Patreon. All right. I want to make sure that I clarify something before we speak about what I'm about to share about Candace Owens. For those of you that are watching this video in real time, or even maybe the playback or the replay, or even those of you who have already been commenting saying things like, expose Candace Owens, thank goodness you finally come around, she's a grifter. A lot of you all respectfully don't even know what grifter means. Y'all have been misusing the word grifter. If you all think that this video is about me exposing Candace Owens for doing the research or exposing or looking into the investigations the way that she has, you're on the wrong video. You may as well click off. This is the wrong video for you. We are not exposing or turning against what Candace Owens has been doing from a two-dimensional perspective. And for those of you who don't like the term two-dimensional or don't know what it means, it simply means if you think that I'm about to say, why has Candace Owens been investigating all these different possibilities? Wrong video. I like what she's been doing. And because if I was a friend, I would do the same thing. That's not what I'm talking about in this video. We're going to talk about something a little deeper. The bigger question about Candace Owens is that, is Candace Owens truly searching for truth? And if you're truly searching for truth, that means that you will be looking at all possibilities. Has Candace Owens truly been doing that? And I'm about to give you all my opinion. All right. Before, I want to show you all something that came across my radar. You all send me a lot of information, and as best as I can, and the couple of people I have on my team now, we're going to try to just sort through this stuff as best as I can. But that means that if something comes across my desk, and it even means exposing Candace, I'm about truth. I'm not about Candace Owens. I'm about truth. And if exposing her in the process is what calls for truth, I'm more than willing to do it. I'm actually happy to do it. So we're on this journey together. So I'm going to show you all what came across my screen or across my desk. So let me see how this is showing up on. Let me see how this is showing up so that I can make sure that I do this right. So let's see what this looks like if I. Okay. Someone sent to me and said that they believe Candace Owens is a paid actor. And there's a site here. Where is it at? Okay. It says, I've been screaming about this for years. Lauren Burbett, Scott Pressler, Candace Owens. As a producer who's conducted thousands of auditions and hired thousands of casting directors, they're crisis actors who create chaos. Who hired them? Warning, this is Emerald Robinson, one of hundreds of Explore Talent chaos agents hired and paid by Republicans to be their star witness. Protests at school boards, shield fear, work for Congress, spread vaccination, and so on and so forth. Now, it is important to note that this is back in March 17th of 2024. So this is not someone, not that they didn't have a reason then, but this is not someone upset because of Candace trying to figure out what happened to Charlie. That's not what's going on. This person, Emerald Robinson, on this site called exploretalent.com. Someone by the name of Scott Pressler. You all may know these people. I don't know who these people are. And apparently Candace Owens. Says here, age 32, gender female, New York City, 5'8", slim, Caribbean, black hair color, brown eye color. Selected as acting and modeling. Whoa. Can anybody, I'm going to need, because I tried to do a little bit of research myself, but you have to create an account, and I believe you may have to pay for it. So if any of you that may have an Explore Talent account or know someone with one, I'm going to need somebody to confirm this for me. Is this true? Has Candace Owens been paid before to be a crisis actor, even if it's just for political reasons? Which this in itself isn't necessarily sinister. I know a lot of people just want to automatically assume that. It isn't always sinister for people to do this, because this is how a lot of politicians just get. I mean, this is a very, very common thing. I mean, in local politics, it's a very common thing. I would know this. But it does change the dynamics of things when you're talking about somebody like Candace Owens. Can anybody confirm if this is true or not? Because it looks like it. But I want to be responsible because we have AI and all these things, and you just never know. But if this is true, this just adds a little bit of credence to what I've already been saying about just these people, because again, as a reminder for everybody, if just so you all are not confused about my position when it comes to Candace, if a person is saying something that you agree with politically, religiously, spiritually, agree with them. Agree with them. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it turns out that these people are not who we say they are, we have to call it for what it is. And just so you all know what I'm going to cover if Candace Owens is a paid crisis actor, which we're covering that now. We're going to transition into the theory about if Charlie Kirk is alive or not. We're going to talk about Turning Point USA and the video reaction that they gave to the Mikey McCoy thing. But let's finish with this Candace thing. Which reminds me, let me pull this up. I actually have the photo. This is a closer photo. I need somebody to confirm for me if this is true. Someone said that's not Candace. That's Candace. Now, whether it's AI or not, that's a different thing. But this person said that's not Candace. That's Candace Owens. The only reason that's not Candace, she was raised in Connecticut. I understand that, but sometimes when they do that, it could be based on where the person is currently living. So I don't know. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. I'm coming to y'all, man. We in this together. We in this together to figure out this stuff together. And what I'm telling you is, if this is true, this changes things, people. And I'm going to tell you why it changes things. Is Candace Owens truly trying to figure out what happened to Charlie Kirk? This is not a bash on Candace Owens as to what she's doing. I agree with what she's doing. I've supported, I've defended her. I'm standing on that. I'm going to tell you what I'm not standing on. Is Candace Owens truly trying to figure out all possibilities? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that she's not. She's not. I'm going to be very careful because we're on YouTube. So YouTube, I just want you to know, I'm not going to show anything inappropriate in this video. And I'm not going to state anything as absolute. These are just my opinions. And I'm going to be very careful with my language so that nothing I say can be considered as defamation or harmful to anyone's family. YouTube, I hope you're listening. I'm saying it up front. If Candace Owens was truly trying to figure out what happened to Charlie Kirk, then Candace Owens would not be cherry picking. We got to hold everybody accountable, y'all. She wouldn't be cherry picking. You say, Didi, what you talking about? She's been cherry picking. Candace Owens knows very well that one of the possibilities is not just that people betrayed Charlie Kirk, but she also knows in a world of possibilities, as somebody like herself that's turning over all stones. Today she talked about an Egyptian government military that was on a plane. Okay, Candace, I'm with you. If you're willing to go that length, that means you're open to any possibility, right? Okay. Candace Owens, why have you not entertained the idea or the possibility that Charlie Kirk was never Pow Pow to begin with? Why have you not entertained that? Is it because you're so close to them that you could be sued? Because I've got the impression from you, Candace, that you don't really care about the being sued thing. Or is the reason because if you were to entertain this, then that means you would have to also implicate Charlie Kirk himself, which means you would have to say that Charlie Kirk was in on it himself. Right? Are these people really paid actors? It does not matter if we agree with them or not. We're talking about, are they paid actors? If you all disprove this photo, all right, cool. I'm with you. But we hold everybody accountable. I don't care who it is. I was telling you all in my last video what I've noticed with Candace, and not just Candace, I've noticed it with other people. No matter what their position is, whether they agree with each other, whether they're fighting each other, they're at odds with each other, guess what all of them are on point with? That Charlie Kirk was Pow Pow. They never question that. Candace Owens will say 50 times in one episode, the day that Charlie Kirk was a sad Pow Pow, a Sassa Pow Pow. The day that Charlie Kirk was Pow Pow. She goes out of her way to constantly repeat that. Now, if she really believes that, then that's one thing. But Candace, if you're really open to all possibilities to what happened that day, you know dang well that that's a possibility that nothing ever happened to begin with. Right? But she's not the only one that's constantly repeating the day that he lost his life. You don't have to keep repeating that, especially if you know the person. Right? And it actually reminds me of Megyn Kelly, right? Remember in my Megyn Kelly video, Megyn Kelly revealed that she believes that Tyler Robinson was the one that took out Charlie Kirk. Now, of course, that's ludicrous. Why would she believe that? But guess what's consistent? That she believes that Charlie Kirk was taken out. Nobody seems to be questioning that. Why? Where is your proof that it actually happened? Where? If we're being honest, if there is proof, cool. I haven't seen any. But it's not the fact that Megyn Kelly said that Charlie Kirk was pow pow that I want you all to listen to. Listen to how she said it.
But I am 100% convinced that Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who murdered him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans issue.
Yeah, we've already been through how ridiculous that is. It makes no sense. All the overwhelming evidence that suggests the fact that Tyler Robinson wasn't the person to do this, allegedly. But that's not what I want you all to listen to. Listen to what she said, how she said this.
But I am 100% convinced that Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who
talks like that? A crazed leftist. What regular human uses language like that? It sounds like she's reading from a script. It sounds like she's reading out of a novel. A crazed leftist. And to make matters worse, Megyn Kelly actually knew Charlie Kirk. Why does that matter? Imagine someone you knew lost their life and you're standing on stage talking about it. Are you going to use language like that, or are you just going to talk normal? This friend of mine, even if it was just business relationship, this person of mine, I believe they were taken out by this crazy person. Why would you not say just crazy? Who says crazed leftist who was upset with him over the transgender issue? Just talk normal. Like a normal human being. That's not what Megyn Kelly was doing here. I found that to be odd. A crazed leftist. It sounded so PR crafty. It sounded constructed. It was a perfect, well-structured sentence.
That Charlie was killed by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who murdered him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the trans issue.
Bro, that's not how normal human beings talk. It's just not. But again, they make sure that everybody's on the same accord. Charlie was pow pow. If you're on my Patreon, then I've already been saying over and over and over that I've said twice on Patreon that I don't believe that he was pow powed. And I understand, for those of you out there that do believe that it was a psyop, that do believe that he was betrayed, but you believe that he actually lost his life, I'm not upset with you. I understand why you will hold that position. Let me explain to you why I no longer hold that position anymore. Because just think for me for a second. If you entertain for 2 minutes that no one was pow pow that day, wouldn't everyone's behavior make more sense? Wouldn't it make more sense? YouTube, again, this is not a fact. None of this. I'm just brainstorming. YouTube, I'm just brainstorming. Think about this. When Donald Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania, I remember this like it was yesterday. Donald Trump was in Butler, Pennsylvania, and I was in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from Arkansas. I live in Arkansas. I was visiting Atlanta, Georgia. for the second time ever. The news broke. I had just got to the hotel. The news broke that Donald Trump had been pow-powed. This is a sitting a presidential candidate, a former sitting president of this country. I freaked the heck out. I went to watch the video, and I can't make this up. It's literally on my channel. Go and fact check me. The video is still up. It's public. The moment I watched the Donald Trump clip, I said, okay, that's not what I was expecting. Something's off here. That felt weird. And the biggest problem I had before I did any investigation, the biggest problem I had with the Donald Trump thing when I first watched it was when Donald Trump was first pow-powed, he goes down, just like Charlie Kirk did. His security team is swarming him, just like Charlie Kirk's team did. We can't see what they're doing. Donald Trump comes up with red liquid all over his face. But that wasn't even the weirdest part. The weirdest part to me, this is when I first watched it. So at that time, I had no other reason than to believe what they were telling us. When I first watched it, Donald Trump goes down. And when when Donald Trump came up, it was a perfect pose. I said, why would you do that? How do you know if there's not other powers? Why would you expose yourself? Why would the Secret Service allow you to expose yourself? Why? Why would you do that? And then later, a perfect photo of Donald Trump. Let's pull this up. Let's see. Trump photo. Bro, this was the result. This was the result. How did you get that perfect photo? How? How? But then it gets worse, because shortly after that, Donald Trump can be seen with tape on his ear. And then like 2 days later, Donald Trump no longer had tape on his ear. His ear looked fine. What the heck is going on? The person that allegedly pow-powed Donald Trump, there is video footage of regular civilians standing out there in the field yelling at police officers and Secret Service members. Look, look, there's a person on the roof. He's right there. They turned their camera phone around and showed it to us. We can see in real time. No one did nothing about it. Why? Why am I talking about Trump? Because Candace hasn't questioned that either. She's critical of Trump. She hasn't questioned that one either. Why? Who cares about being called a conspiracy theorist? The point is it possible that they could stage these things? Stage sounds too conspiratorial. So let's just put it this way. Is it possible that they can say, how do we get the people to rally behind us? Oh, we can stage this. And once they see that you survive this, everybody will rally behind you even more. Is that possible? Just answer that question. Is it possible? It is possible. Why has Candace Owens never questioned that? Why is Candace Owens not questioning this one? She will say upwards of 50 to 65 times in one episode the day Charlie Kirk was pop out. If it was my friend, I wouldn't want to keep repeating that. I'd come up with just saying the day everything happened, because it would hurt me to say that. But it seems that that's something they don't want us to forget. Yes, we disagree on who did it. Yes, we disagree on how to go about investigating it. But we all agree that he's no longer here, even though we've presented no proof. Then I saw a video. I'm about to show you all a video that was the nail in the coffin for me. I have heavily edited this video. You will not hear the BLOOD word that I refer to as red liquid. You will not hear it. YouTube, if you are watching, I am not going to show. I have blurred out everything inappropriate in this video. There's nothing inappropriate that's going to be seen. This channel's name is, I want to make sure I get it right. It's Truth Out. Is that what it's called? It's called, my bad, y'all. I try to have this stuff on memory. It's called, sheesh, I just had it. Flat Out Truth. I'm going to link it into this. I'm going to link it below afterwards. One of you all sent it to me. I watched it. This was the nail in the coffin. And this would further explain why Mikey McCoy, who we're going to talk about a little later, is going to make sense why Mikey McCoy behaved the way that he did. It's going to make sense because allegedly nobody was ever pow-powed. Why would you really be sad? Why would you force yourself? This video blew my mind. And it's undeniable. Candace Owens has an entire team. She had to have come across this video. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the Charlie Kirk hologram projection. Now, as you remember, in part 1, I showed you how this guy climbs up here and takes down the hologram projector. And then I went on to give you images of what these hologram projectors look like. And then I went on to show you how this chair glitches right through the table in the area where this hologram is taking.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Now, something, before I play this back, something we got to keep in mind, that some of these videos could have been recreated and made, AI versions could have been put out. I don't think this is one of the earliest videos that came out. I don't know if this is one of them. Bro, I'm about to play this back. There's no denying it. Watch this.
What these hologram projectors look like. And then I went on to show you how this chair glitches right through the table in the area where this hologram is taking place. As you can see right here up close, the seat of the chair glitches right through the top of that table, just disappears right through it. And that can only happen with CGI, green screens, AI, and hologram projectors. I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Terry, if it was a hologram, how was he walking around passing out hats and talking to people? Because he was walking around passing out hats and talking to people. Only the assassination was a hologram. Here's what you're forgetting. You're forgetting about the trap door right by his feet underneath that little canopy there. Now, I know I showed you this in part 1, but I'm just briefly showing you again to remind you of the trap door. Actually, it's a utility room where they go down to do maintenance, I think on the fountain or something. But point being, I just want to remind you of this trap door.
This is the courtyard where it all happened. It's now open to the public again. There's lots of people coming here, placing flowers, cards, things like that. The university is already making some changes They're replacing the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers.
Now, even if this trapdoor doesn't play a part in this hoax at all, it's awful convenient for it to be right there where they were at. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it played a part in the hoax. And like I said before, that's why all the security team surrounded Charlie. And they blurred it to where you couldn't see it. And now I'm getting ready to prove that to you. Now, here's where I need you to pay attention. I know it's hard to watch, but pay attention. See all the pour out of his neck onto the shirt right there? This is the hologram part. This is.
I paused this part and I did a cover over. I'll include the link after this live, but I can't show it for obvious reasons. But I want you to listen to what he's saying. I'm going to explain it afterwards. This part really blew my mind.
The hologram part that you're watching. Okay, see all the pouring out on his shirt, out on his neck, a hole in his neck, coming out of his neck, pouring onto the shirt. Get that image in your head because it's very important. This is the hologram part. Now let's watch it from the front angle. Pay very close attention. Watch the come pouring out of his neck onto that shirt. Here's the hole. Here comes the pouring out onto the shirt. Now here's why I proved to you that what you just watched was a hologram. Now, this is where the security team surrounds Charlie and they pick him up and they're taking off with him. Now watch when we zoom in on this footage. What do you see on the neck? What do you see on the shirt? Nothing. Where'd the blood go? Where'd the bullet hole go? Where'd all the gold went on the shirt? I don't see it anywhere, do you? Nor do you see the black letters that say freedom on the front of the shirt. Now, you know we got some haters that's going to say, but you're not showing the left side of his shirt. Yes, there is the left side of his shirt in slow motion. Now, that's the middle of his shirt. Let me rewind it back. There's the left side of his shirt. No on it whatsoever. So, get over it. Because it was a hologram, people. You just seen it with your own eyes, no whatsoever. And that's why when they were carrying him to the SUV, there wasn't a trail of nowhere because he wasn't shot. It's all a big hoax.
YouTube, as a reminder, listen, I'm just reacting to somebody else's content, and I'm going to give my thoughts on it. I do not 100% represent everything that was just said in that video. I'm just reacting to the content. That's for YouTube. For those of you that are content creators, you understand why I said that. I will include the link to that video in the description after this live is over. As a reminder, I had already come to this conclusion well before this point because of all the obvious reasons that would best make sense. Because here's my thing. You're going to have to do your best to fight against what the evidence is telling you, right? Because think about it. If you're saying that Charlie Kirk was betrayed, think about this. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. I said this on Patreon. I'm going to say it on here a little bit more censored. That means that the young people was involved. You're telling me a 23-year-old Mikey McCoy. No, I don't believe that. You're telling me that 20-year-old looking white girl with the MAGA hat who's Dana smirking didn't even look at Charlie. Mikey McCoy didn't even look at Charlie. Mikey McCoy turned around, walked off. He knew the assignment, allegedly. He walked off as if he knew the assignment. That's what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. Wouldn't it make more sense that everybody's able to act that way, so coordinated? When the clip that Candace Owens played of the dude who was filming himself, the guy who took the projector down, walked off and was filming beside the path through, whatever you call it, the bridge, the overpass. He recorded himself saying what? He said, let's see if shoot, I'm not going to find it in time. He said, they just pow Charlie. He said, Charlie is no longer alive. Why is everybody repeating that, including him? He was the first one. Moments. Charlie was barely in the Wagoneer. He started it first. Charlie is unalived. And now everybody's repeating that. How do you know that? And then I came across this video. Thanks to you all. Shout out. The name of the channel is Flat Out Truth. It's a very gruesome video. Why is Candace not entertaining these options? Because that means you're going to have to say that Charlie Kirk was in on it, or maybe because you already know, possibly, and you're doing this to protect your friend. Now, the biggest question would be, why would Charlie do this? The second question would be, where would Charlie Kirk go? I've heard different answers to that second question. I don't know if Charlie Kirk is alive or not. I want to state that again for YouTube. I don't know if he's alive or not. I'm not here stating anything is absolute. That's not my position. But this is what I will say. A motive would be to remove yourself before some, I don't know, foreign nation removes you for real. Because I don't know, you was getting into real arguments with them, with their representatives, because you realized maybe years ago, and the heat was just stacking up and was getting hotter. You realized that you had gotten in bed with Satan. Maybe that's why. You realized that the people that had been funding you, you was kind of on the wrong team, buddy. Maybe that's what you realized. Allegedly. I'm just throwing out possibilities. I'm not saying this is absolute. It's not what I'm saying. Right? Which brings me to Turning Point USA, who issued a response. Apparently, this video came out before Candace Owens' video came out, but I still see it as a response to what Candace Owens said. Let's hear what they have to say about the backlash about Mikey McCoy. This should be very interesting. Please hit the like button, everybody. We have like 14, 15, 1600 people in here. Please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it.
We got to do a little addressing of a video that went viral this weekend, and it's a video of Charlie's chief of staff. We made the decision that we wanted to address this head on because, candidly, there's so much intrigue, and I'm gonna do a generous thing. The intrigue is because people care about Charlie. Okay.
My first issue with this guy is that he just said he wanted to address a video because it went viral. Why is that your reason for addressing this, bro? And where is Mikey McCoy? Why is Mikey McCoy not in this video? Why is he not here? He's been helping host the show for the past few weeks. Now the video where it's time to address his weird behavior that day, this is the moment that he doesn't show up? And you decide to address it because this went viral.
So
the amazing Mikey McCoy.
That part I understand.
You're more generous than I'd be.
Yes, and that's fine. And I am going to give you the floor here now, Blake, because you were there and you actually interacted with Mikey. You were with Mikey. You left the scene and then connected with Mikey. So explain what the video is.
All right, I'm not going to
set the scene.
I'm not going to wallow in it at length, but people have. It's gone viral and people have asked us to address it, and we're going to do so briefly. The video, without going way into it, is by, I can't even remember the guy's name. Someone made a video.
Sam Parker. You remember the dude's name. I didn't even make it a priority to remember his name, but I remembered. His name is Sam Parker. You know exactly his name, bro.
That is attacking Mikey, Charlie's friend, Charlie's chief of staff, a guy all of us know, a guy who we've seen on the show here the last few weeks.
He's not attacking Mikey. This is what by the way, this guy right here is the producer for the Charlie Kirk show. Last time I checked, Charlie Kirk is a conservative. Why does this guy give me progressive vibes? When you listen to him in this clip, tell me if this gives you conservative, patriotic, Constitution vibes. This guy right here, listen to his language. Listen to how he's talking. Sam Parker never attacked Mikey. He noted all the weird behavior by Mikey McCoy, who did nothing for Charlie Kirk that day. Listen to what this guy's about to say.
They are attacking him, claiming, based on a few seconds of clips, that he allegedly has like a nonchalant or calm reaction to Charlie's murder.
It's like, bro, it's like these people don't believe that we have our own ears and eyes. He literally behaved nonchalantly. He didn't duck. He didn't run. He didn't scream. He didn't run to Charlie. He didn't look for power. Nothing. He walked away on the phone. He was literally, by definition, nonchalant. What do you mean?
That he allegedly has like a nonchalant or calm reaction to Charlie's murder.
He did.
And I'm just going to be blunt about this. This is a extremely disgusting attack. And I can speak to that because I was there when it happened and I was next to Mikey when it happened.
Hey, everybody, listen to the lie he's about to tell. We all saw the video of what Mikey McCoy did. Now listen to what this guy recalls happened. A completely different story. Listen to this.
And what I can say is, I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about this specific narrow thing.
Nobody I saw covered this clip caught this part or seemed to speak on this part. He said, I can't speak on everything that happened. Why can't you speak on it? You were there. Do you mean you can't speak on it because you don't recall, you don't remember, or you can't speak on it because you've been told not to speak on it until the trial or something? Like, I'm not following you there. Chat, what did he mean by that?
I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about this specific narrow thing. That the shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn. We both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that means there is a shooter who is on the scene.
Hey, remember what I was telling you all earlier about how they go out of their way to make sure we understand that above all else, no matter what discrepancies there are, the common denominator that everybody agrees on is that Charlie Kirk was pow-powed. Let me tell you why that's even more problematic with what this guy's saying. Blake Neff is his name, the producer for Charlie Kirk's show. Because we literally see Mikey McCoy's reaction. Mikey McCoy had already turned around. I can make the argument, I'm not making the argument, but I could easily make the argument that Mikey McCoy never even saw it. Whatever happened that day, he had already turned around and proceeded to do what it almost looked like he knew to do anyways. And he walked off. What is this guy talking about? He did not watch it with you, bro. He was already gone. We saw it on camera. In 0.8, what is it, 8/4 of a second, he had already walked off. Less than a second, bro. Do you know how fast that is? That's record timing. That's like lining up for a track race. You already know you're about to run. You're already expecting the pow-pow to go off. And as soon as it goes off, you take off running. That's the type of timing he turned around and walked off. Stop it.
And, you just hear the crack. So you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we are both shot. That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action, and they got Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do. My job was not to get in the way and screw this up because, I had to be a hero. That was not my job. I remember even running past, both of us going past the SUV that we came in on, and me thinking, should I get in that car? And then thinking, no, that's a really stupid thing to do. And then I kept going.
Dude, what? Why is he telling us we don't care what you did? At least not for now. Why are you telling us what you did, Blake? No, the conversation is not about you, bro. You're answering this like a politician. We asked you about Mikey McCoy. The conversation is about Mikey, not Blake. But even if it was about you, what do you mean you didn't want to get in the way? He had a security team for this. That's not what we're saying, bro. But we expect you to react in some fashion like a human when you just saw something you didn't expect to see so gruesome. We didn't see any of that. You will never know until you're in that situation. Brother, I didn't say you should vomit. I didn't say you should pass out. Both reasonable things some people would do. We're saying do something that tells us that human being just saw something that just caught them off guard. We didn't see that, bro. This 23-year-old dude, or 22 at the time, was extremely composed. Stop it. Stop it.
So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realized there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And truthfully, I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well. He's a very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that. Your mind extends all of this, but
there it is again. Y'all, chat. There it is again. This guy goes, I believe he goes, I need to call Erica. But I don't want to disclose how that conversation went, what was said. Why not? Is this another one of those, well, it was a private conversation, it's not for me to share. Bro, this was a public pow-powing, right? All you're simply saying is what he said to Erica. Why would that matter? He's calling to tell her what happened to her husband, right? Why would it matter that you shared that information? That doesn't make any sense. And here's the bigger question. This is really the biggest. This is what I say, like they're insulting our intelligence. When did all of this happen, Blake? We see the dude on camera. He turns around, puts the phone up to it. The phone was already up to his face. He walks off. He doesn't talk to you, bro. We see him on camera the entire time. He never talks to you. He never tells you he's about to call somebody. In fact, by the time that Charlie Kirk made it to the Wagoneer, when they walked to the Wagoneer and there was no red liquid leaking, when they were walking to the Wagoneer, we literally see on camera this 22-year-old chief of staff, Mikey McCoy, the son of Pastor Rob McCoy, the brother of Justin McCoy, who I believe is like the chief financial officer or something. This dude was at the back side of the parking lot. He didn't even look back. Man, stop it. Stop it.
What's happening within a minute of all of this occurring? I remember he calls Erica. Around the same time, I pull out my phone and I call my mom just to say, Mom, there's been a shooting. You're going to see it on the news. I'm okay. Pray for me. I've got to go. And I remember that call. And around the time I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy. And he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray right now.
Once again, when did all of this happen? Second of all, I thought you just said you didn't want to disclose private conversations, bro. You just said that he called Erica, but you don't want to disclose what he told her. What? What does that mean? But now you're saying he called his father right after that. I don't know when he did all of this. This dude kept the phone up to his ear, walked off. But the phone call to his father, you're going to tell us what that conversation was about. I don't know if this, Blake, I don't know if this conversation and you sharing this is doing what you intended for it to do. Or maybe it is.
And that's what he told him. And I guess it's very disgusting for me as someone who witnessed this, who saw Mikey hugely distressed and then step up in the moment, because after that call was over, I saw Mikey like get total mastery of himself, that he realized he had to step up in this situation. And he, from that point, he was like a general directing a battle where he was, grabbing people and saying, okay, we need to get to the hospital and we need to do these things. And you guys need to wait here. I need to get in here to get information so that I can get it to Erica.
I'm not okay. Bro. This is not even hyperbole when I say this. Yeah, Chad, y'all following this. Listen to me. What did you just say? Now I'm convinced that they are lying on purpose. Everything I said is alleged. I'm convinced that these people are lying on purpose so blatantly that it's undeniable that they're lying so that they can cause more confusion. I'm convinced of that. This man said that this 22-year-old Mikey McCoy turned into a general and started directing people. Bro. Mikey McCoy was at the back of the parking lot before Charlie Kirk even got inside of the Wagoneer. He was directing who? What general? What general? This guy gives me progressive vibes. He gives me Democrat vibes. What do I mean by that? I've been in those circles. And when you are in these super inclusive spaces, let me tell you what they do. If you do something not so good, and by not so good, I mean like really bad, and you feel so bad about it, and you think that you let your team down, they'll say something like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Just keep on working at it. I'm not saying this is a bad way to be, but it's feeding you delusion. Like, if I messed up, tell me I messed up, and let's work on it. Instead, they think the better approach is to lie to you. No, you did just fine. You just need just a little bit of improvement. A little bit of improvement. Like, bro, what are you talking about? This dude gives me progressive vibes. I will be shocked. And fair enough, he's just a producer. I guarantee you that this dude is not conservative. I bet you everything I own, he's not conservative. Hit the like button, everybody. Please hit the like button.
And when we learned he was dead, he came out and he told us, and then he says, now none of you can say anything that you've heard, because Erica is not going to hear about this from anyone except me.
Why? That is Mikey McCoy at 23 years old, because he just turned 23, is technically all of these men's boss, or both of these men's boss, or it's this way, both of these men's boss. Why is he not present for this? Why can't he speak for himself? If this dude was behaving like a general and calling shots and directing people in the midst of a mass pow-powing, one of the biggest political pow-powings in American history, if he can behave like that in the face of danger, why he not on this podcast to address the people?
Can I ask a question? I've just been thrown into this 10 minutes ago, but there's a suggestion online that Mikey, Charlie's chief of staff, one of the most sincere people you'd ever meet, brilliant, Christian, kind, everyone he ever met in his entire life, couldn't hurt a fly, was part of a conspiracy to murder Charlie. That's what's going on.
Yeah. It's vile. It's utterly vile.
Oh. I see what's going on here. They have a guest on the show who's masquerading or presenting himself as if he has what do you call it, an objective question. But it turns out he doesn't have an objective question at all. Instead, he has a pandering question where he is only going to buy into the complete BS that they're feeding us to be buddy-buddy with them. He's going to sit there like he's not a normal human being, just like we are. He don't see the same inconsistencies that we see. No. He's sitting there, let me add on to the delusion that they're sharing. Let me be a part of this script as well. Boy, stop it.
Who would do this? Like, what type of individual? Just to create content, do we think? Or is there some, what's the ulterior?
I don't know. I think a lot of this mindset just sort of fuels itself. It's sort of addictive in the same way a lot of social media stuff is addictive, or in the way like, honestly, something like pornography is addictive or something. Like they get really? They almost get a high off of like the idea of like that they're doing something that's daring or out there.
Yeah, and I want to make one other point though, and this is actually to your point. You saw Mikey do heroic things that day. I saw Mikey do heroic things. I was not on site.
Bro, I about to spit my water up. Y'all, I'm so confused. They said that they saw Mikey do heroic things. How come it's only TPUSA? It's just like the pastor I had on. How come it's only TPUSA and TPUSA affiliates that seem to be able to see, hear, and know things none of us know, see, or hear? What is that about?
But I immediately flew to Utah. We got a plane. I mean, it's not something that I'm used to, but it was like my wife went with me. We went straight over. I knew I needed to be with Erica and the team immediately just because, I just knew. But that moment when I got the news, I was so shell-shocked. I was not even there, but I was immediately traumatized. My brain fries like an egg. I can't see straight. I can't think straight. All I knew is that, like, what's happening? My wife came in. She, like, hugged me. We started crying together. And I can't even remember those moments very clearly. I wasn't even there. Mikey was two steps
talked
away.
about that.
And I asked him, I was like, do you even remember the moments after? He's like, I can't even really remember. I know I called Erica. I know I called my wife. I know I called my dad. I can't even really remember the steps I took. I can't.
So Andrew COVID, now all of a sudden he's sharing how he cried even though he wasn't there. Hey, Andrew COVID, how come everything that you just described was your reaction when you first found out? How come we hadn't seen any of that from any of you all since that point? How come none of those moments are actually on camera for any of you? That's the real question. Talking about your brain was fried. You couldn't even think straight. Bro, do you think we slow, dumb, or stupid? This is real eyes, real lies, real lies. That's a real quote right there. He doesn't even sound believable. Hey, that's a fact. That's a fact. Hey. Yo, at least turn the comments off. They posted this video on YouTube and left the comments on. Go to the comment. If you want to be entertained, go to the comment section. If I'm Turning Point USA, I wouldn't go to the comment section. And these are people that support Turning Point USA. This is insane. Yeah, bro, I'm cracking up. Let me here's the last thing I would say, you all. Can anybody explain to me what in the world is going on with Officer Tatum? Do you all know who Officer Tatum is? Give me a 1 in the chat if you know who Officer Tatum is. Give me a 2 in the chat if you do not. Do you all know who Officer Tatum is? Give me a 1 in the chat if you know, a 2 in the chat if you do not. Okay, I'm seeing mostly ones. Oh, I'm seeing some twos. Officer Tatum, everybody, is a really big conservative. Think of him as the male version of Candace Owens in the sense of, not right now, but it's in the sense of he was one of the early so-called black conservatives when it wasn't cool to be a conservative, let alone a so-called black conservative. Sophomore Tatum. And I actually know why he's called Sophomore, because what's my guy's name? Shout out to the channel. Is it Disturbing Illusion? He calls him Sophomore Tatum because he always defends cops, even when cops are clearly in the wrong. And there was an incident where this cop was hitting a kid in the chest, and Officer Tatum defended the cop because he said once he saw the video footage, at least the cop wasn't hitting the kid in the face. He was only hitting him in the chest to soften him up. That's wild. Well, Officer Tatum, let me show you all something. He is very pro-Israel. Obviously, Candace has been very critical of the country, very critical. So critical, in fact, that I'd argue that some of the things she said on her show today was indirectly about Officer Tatum. Her and Officer Tatum are like brothers and sisters, so they've agreed to not publicly talk about each other in a bad manner, even though they fall heavily on the other end of the spectrum. Let me show you all what's been going on with Officer Tatum. Let me make sure this is showing up right. Okay, I want it to show a little different. Hold on, a little different. Okay, a little different. So Officer Tatum, is Tucker Carlson normalizing anti-Semitism on the right? This is what he just tweeted 28 minutes ago. Yes, he is. Dude, no, he's not. Let's see here. Let's see. He shared this 5 hours ago. Normalizing this guy's insane. People should be debating him, not kissing his butt. Charlie over this clown. Now, this is a clip of Nick Fuentes. I'm going to show you all an edited version of this clip. Don't worry. I put the work in for y'all, so y'all should hit that like button for me to show me that you appreciate it. I can't play it directly from Twitter because it's really vulgar, so I edited the clip for you. Let me show you all what the video clip that Officer Tatum just shared of Nick Fuentes.
Remember to get your merch. We have our brand new white ass nigga going hard as fuck shirt at Fuentes.store, because that's what we are. I would say that Tucker is a white ass nigga going hard as fuck. Honorary Wang half. Tucker Carlson, you are this week's white ass nigga going hard as fuck. No one can deny. I am one also. But it's got Wang half on the front, me on the back. That's what's up. They're trying to neutralize me. Try it. You'll end up like that last guy, like that nerd. They got blown up. Wang half. Fuentes.store. Get the hats as well. Show your allegiance. This is America first. This is America.
Now, yes, you are right that you just heard him using the N-word. He uses the N-word often. In fact, he's known for doing that because his idea is that he should be able to say whatever he wants. And I agree with him. I don't care. Just be careful where you use the word, because you can't control how people react to it. It is what it is. I don't care for Nick Fuentes' vulgar language. If you have not seen my Nick Fuentes documentary, it is about an hour long, and I think I'm a pretty fair guy. It's an incredible video. You should go and check it out. I give the life story of Nick Fuentes, a lot of the things that's happened to him. I'm critical of him, but I'm also fair. He's one of the most gifted speakers I've ever heard before under the age of 30. Easy. However, with that said, Nick Fuentes claims to be a follower of Christ, and he also claims to be a Catholic. And I don't believe him. I think his family's a Catholic, and I think he just says that he follows Christ to get that to get the political right. But I do not believe this guy's actually a follower of Christ. However, with that said, if Nick Fuentes and Officer Tatum was to debate, Nick Fuentes would wipe the floor with Officer Tatum. He will wipe the floor with Officer Tatum. Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson are making a lot of noise right now because they just gave an interview and they've been calling each other a Fed for forever. All right. Let me show you all why Officer Tatum is a hypocrite. So you just heard the clip from Nick Fuentes, right? And let me show you as a reminder what Officer Tatum said about this clip. He said, normalizing this guy is insane. People should be debating him, not kissing his butt. Charlie over this clown. Charlie was also, for what it's worth, ducking Nick Fuentes as well. In my opinion, Charlie Kirk was terrified or is terrified of Nick Fuentes. Let me show you why, but let me show you why this guy, Officer Tatum, is a hypocrite. Roll the clip.
Is that black on black?
You's a bitch. I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah, nigga.
I never apologize.
You apologize?
I never
You didn't
apologize.
apologize. My wife listened to you, nigga.
I never apologized. What I said was, what I said was,
Nigga.
what I said.
Crazy. Crazy. Crazy, man. That sounds very similar to what we just heard from Nick Fuentes. Now, this same guy right here, in the name of Charlie Kirk, is bashing Tucker Carlson for giving Nick Fuentes a platform and says that Tucker Carlson should be deplatformed, should be put off of Turning Point USA, should never be allowed to speak at any event ever again because he is quote unquote anti-Semitic and that he hates Jews. Really? Really? Tucker Carlson has made it clear, including in his Nick Fuentes conversation, they got into a debate. Was that AI? Nah, that's not AI. That's a real video of Officer Tatum. He went onto this platform with a bunch of black creators, so-called black creators, and he felt like the guy set him up for an ambush. He got onto the call, and the guy started to ask Officer Tatum critical questions. And apparently they had a conversation before where Officer Tatum allegedly was promised that he wouldn't be asked about certain things. As soon as he came on camera, he was asked about certain things. And this was his reaction.
Is that black on black?
You's a bitch. I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch. And when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me and you call me and saying you apologize? Yeah, nigga.
I never apologized.
You apologize?
I never
You didn't
apologized.
apologize. My wife listened to you, nigga.
I never apologized. What I said was, what I said was, what I said.
Crazy. Crazy. But anyways, so after the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview that I listened to most of it, I've already known Nick's story for several months now, so I didn't learn a lot of new stuff listening to it. But it was interesting to see Tucker Carlson hear it for the first time. A lot of people react to it for the first time. And the reason why I'm talking about Officer Tatum is because I'm pretty sure Candace Owens was indirectly talking about Officer Tatum today as one of the quote-unquote Christian Zionists, which in my opinion is an oxymoron. Christian Zionists that is calling for the cancellation of individuals that they disagree with instead of embracing conversations with people that you disagree with. Right? This is supposedly a conservative that is all about free speech. Even though if you go to his show, he even admits himself mistakenly that Charlie Kirk wasn't even free speech. Because when it came to Nick Fuentes, he wouldn't platform him. He was ducking him. Right? Let me show you some of the things that this dude has been tweeting, man. He shows a clip of this Muslim person, Omar Fateh, waves foreign flag, speaks a foreign language, pledges his loyalty to Somalia, tells Somalians to elect him. This is a rally in Minneapolis. He says, but the Jews are the problem. Really, bro? How many Muslims in this country, how many seats in Congress do Muslims hold? I'm just asking. How many seats, executive producer seats and executive seats do they hold in Hollywood? How about the music industry? How about the CDC? Exactly. This dude has been off the rails. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's been very critical of Donald Trump and his failure when it came to the Epstein files, and she is not a fan of that foreign nation and thinks that we should stop funding them. She tweeted and said, paid social media influencers should have to publicly disclose who they represent. Their accounts should have different badges so people know the difference. This dude quote tweets her and says, name one. Who do you know getting paid by a foreign government? She's saying this with zero proof or evidence. Can't name one person. I wish you would say I am getting paid so I can sue her. He's upset with her because she doesn't support Israel. This is Nick Fuentes responding to somebody asking him about Brandon Tatum.
That's your
Roll
question?
sent $21. There's this guy called Officer Tatum, aka Officer Talmud. You should watch his 30 minutes crash to Nick Fuentes x Tucker Carlson interview. Lol, and his comments are filled with Zios who despise you.
Why would I? He's an idiot. Hey man, shit. Hey man, Tucker, nigga, them some bitch ass nigga. Hey man. He's a fucking idiot.
Ah, shoot.
Brandon Tatum is an idiot. Dumbest person I've ever heard. He should get an education.
Okay. Anyways, he said, look at this little racist clown. This is why Charlie wouldn't take him seriously. His entire platform is what? Being a troll. He has zero value, just complaining. JD Vance is the man. 2028 all day. Interesting. So this is a student. Actually, I'm gonna just. Anyways, look at this tweet right here. I'm a proud Christian Zionist. That makes no sense, bro. It makes no sense to say this. Somebody said gross. This is crazy, bro. So somebody comments with something that Charlie said. Let's see what he said.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
That's where I'm going to stop before I end up getting this video flagged. Yeah, man. What happened to that dude, man? Like he's attacking everybody that's critical of that foreign nation. And if they're critical of that foreign government, he calls all of them anti-Semitic and that they hate Jewish people. What? What are you talking about here, bro? We don't hate Jewish people. But 90% of his content on his channel is critical of the so-called black community. By your definition, you hate black people. By your own logic, you hate black people, bro. Didi, are you aware that George Zenzi's first words were he's, meaning Charlie, faking it? Got that? No, I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to see some proof of that. Send it to me. But let me get to some super chats so I can end the video. William Ellick, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. You might be correct. Trump had to be in on the catch-up ear. LOL, I'm shocked a lot of smart people couldn't see the Trump pow. What's that? Yeah, because a lot of people, they're going to lose support. If you've been saying all these bad things about Kamala Harris, which, by the way, I'm not a fan of Kamala, I think she would have been worse than Trump. For the record, I don't think she was qualified. Has nothing to do with her skin color, has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It had to do with because of who she is. If you spent all that time supporting Trump, and then you see something that Trump did that makes you question everything you thought you knew, you can't backtrack. Because then people, only on the internet do you have to be absolute. One side or the other. You can't be nuanced like real life. So online, you got to pretend like, okay, that didn't just give me the heebie-jeebies. What happened in Butler, Pennsylvania did not raise some questions and red flags for me, you know, even though you clearly see it. Did you all know that right after that situation happened with Trump, the moment he was in office, he closed the investigation into what truly happened that day? Why would you be doing that, Trump? William Ellick, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. World stage is big. Trust no one. Only based. Only based Didi, for sure. Crazy. Tony Blackman, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Holla. Yes, yes. Brad Gilbert, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Crop the bullet from the APEC, aka CIA pick. It's AI. People can believe it or they can't. We played it at the beginning. They can accept it or they don't have to, you know? A squib. Ariana was an actress in the studio. I've talked about that on Patreon. I don't want to say too much on YouTube. Thank you so much again for the $2 super chat, William. I seen a video. Looks like God slid into the. Yeah, I saw it as well. Again, some of this stuff I talked about on Patreon. I want to be careful on YouTube. I don't want to say too much. Jorge Tapia, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Matthew McCoy, and this is MM 33. Something to think about. That's good observation, actually. Miss Elaine, as always, thank you so much for being a member or upgrade your member for 2 months. Shout out to the best channel. Dang, bro. That's love on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Which, by the way, that reminds me, once again, let me put this on the screen before we end this video. If you're on Patreon, do not forget, first of all, hit the like button. Please hit the like button. I got 1,200 people still in here. Please hit the like button if you do not mind. If you're on Patreon, link is in the description to the Patreon. The bonus edition for the Martin Luther King documentary that I dropped a few months ago is officially out. I dropped it early this morning. You do not want to miss it. You're going to love it. All right. So if you're a Patreon member, please go and check it out. Shout out to y'all, man. I have, we're 300 members away from 6,000 Patreon members. 6,000. Now, most of them are free members, but support is support regardless. Almost 6,000, man. We're definitely building a community over there. So I appreciate you. If you want to become a member, links in the description. Thank you so much for the super sticker. $3 super sticker as always. And Veronica, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Charlie chilling on. I'm not even going to read that and get flagged. Hey, allegedly, crazy. Yeah, man. The way I think about Christian Zionism is the way I think about Judeo-Christianity. It's like it's an oxymoron. They don't go together. Heck yeah, man. There's been some reports that's claiming that he has been, but where's the proof? Where's the proof? Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all, man. I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I don't want to take too much of y'all's time. I don't want to make the watch back or the replay super long for everybody. Love y'all, man. Enjoy your Thursday night. I'm going to hop up off of here. I'll catch y'all the next one, man. Hit the like button on your way out. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Mr. Lane spoiling me today. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. But yeah, hit the like button. Follow me on Instagram. I've officially started posting clips. I'm posting clips on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram. It's time to grow those platforms as well, so we can run it up like we've ran up YouTube. So please go and follow me on Instagram, Twitter. What am I leaving out? TikTok. I've officially started posting clips and shorts, including on YouTube. All right. Love y'all, man. I'll see y'all. I'm Demetrius. I go by Didi. Until next time. Peace.